Hello, welcome to IDG Talks. My name is Anastasia Lavrina, and today we have a distinguished guest joining me now from Türkiye, Melih Demirtas, researcher and former diplomat. Warm welcome to our program.
Thank you, Ms. Lavrina. It's again very pleasure to be with you.
A very important event, the first visit of Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, to Türkiye, his first official visit. What can you highlight from that visit, why this is important for Türkiye and how it will affect the future partnership within the alliance between Türkiye and other member states?
Thank you very much. Mr. Secretary General Mark Rutte was here in Türkiye, and of course he visited the other neighbor country, Greece. As you know, we have a very special history with NATO. I mean, as two neighbor countries, Türkiye and Greece, we joined at the same time. We joined with a similar, spirit and with this similar cooperation understanding to this important institution. We know that NATO is an institution of the Cold War era. It's the institution of maybe harsh enmities, harsh rivalries, and sometimes they need to solve some issues in the regional, but now much more in global sense. Because NATO now felt that maybe in this era, which is not so dominated only by weapons, but many, many threats, perceptions we have. As many countries, as Turkey, as Azerbaijan, in many regions, we have, of course, starting from this nuclear weapons. Unfortunately, these are the maybe number one issue of humanity's so pessimistic future. These nuclear threats must be discussed in all levels. I mean, in regional, in global sense, in NATO countries, but also in Russian and in Eurasian countries levels, we must discuss these issues. And Mr. Rutte has been here, I think, to talk about this very multilateral, maybe multidimensional threat perceptions with the high level visits. I mean, with Mr. Erdogan, with Mr. Fidan, and also with our defense minister, Mr. Yaşar Güler. He had, I think, very fruitful discussions. He discussed the weapon, industry. He discussed also about this Ukrainian issue, which is so maybe an important dominant issue in our region. I mean, affecting all, Turkey, Azerbaijan, even the Middle Eastern balances, affected for more than 5 years, 6 years, maybe since the Crimean issue. We must discuss this Ukrainian case again and again. So Mark Rutte was here, and he also visited important places in Turkey. Our defense industry. To such, unfortunately, we had a very heinous, very bad terroristic attack, which is so unfortunate. And we really had some negative history because of this. Turkey always repeats its grievances, always repeats the negative impacts of some disagreements between NATO allies. Turkey has also repeated these disagreements and the opinions that really affecting Turkey negatively in this NATO spirit, because Turkey has contributed for more than 60 years to this institution with its utmost energy, with its military equipment, with its community spirit, and with its also political decision levels. It is now the second country. It is so openly declared. Last day visit. The NATO spokespersons always tell this. And now we turn to be like the second one. In terms of the military contributions and in terms of personal, in terms of our military, culture, that really also symbolizing some NATO, spirit inside themselves. So we say that Turkey deserves more. Turkey deserves also this new community idea in this new multilateral threat perception.
So, Dr. Demirtas, Turkey has purchased F-35 jets. It's also number one issue now, which we can see from different media sources. And it's interesting that this topic had become widely discussed after the recent visit of NATO Secretary General to Turkey. What factors have led Turkey to resubmit its offer for F-35 jets now, and how this is important for military defense system of Turkey and its policy?
Sure. Social media is the reality now, also politics of diplomacy corridors. We know that. We read from social media in hours, in minutes, what's happening. Some are gossips, some are turning the real, news. But we say that this weapon system, I mean, first of all, this very high equipped fired jets, I mean, which are F-35. It's so famous topic also in Turkey. For, I mean, 3 or 4 years, we discussed that as in the United States media, as in some Western media has said, Turkey has kicked out, or Turkey now was forced to be not in this project. But no, Turkey has all military equipments, and Turkey has all military personnel, starting from the commander level to the engineer level. I mean, not on this unfortunate 4 or 5 years. I mean, since I think 2019, we had this issue. I mean, not in this project is included Turkey. I mean, the project of F-35, and it is also linked to the issue of, as you may remember, the ballistic missiles of S-400s from or another important, partner country, Russia. We can say that Turkey has this option to understand that this, balances inside our region has a real important history. NATO is maybe like 60, 70 years of an institutional record. As I said, that in 1949, it's established. In 3 years later, important 2 countries, Turkey and Greece, were included in this important institution. When the Eastern Bloc, when this Soviet Union split was also increasing its effects in those years, please remember the Cold War years. But now, after the Cold War, and after all this happens and everything's changed in this post-Cold War era, we may say that NATO still maybe find its way, and it finds its way maybe with the new spirit of understanding the other, players' commonalities, the other players, also some sensitivities, because Turkey knows these sensitivities. The sensitivity of Russia, for example, the sensitivity of our brother Azerbaijan, or the other Caucasian or some Middle Eastern countries. Turkey is so in the middle. We have not maybe this luxury, as a very common saying, like a proverb. They say that we have not luxury like being, I don't want to spell a country, but Luxembourg, or very famous historian said this. We are not in such a position. We are in a position that we know that everything can happen in one night. Everything can happen, in 1 week, maybe in 1 month. And we really want to discuss this with our partner countries. Really gives many things. NATO is not a defense institution in my readings, as also in my professional experience, in my academic and research experience. I can say that NATO is not only a security or defense institution. It turns to be a culture. It affects your institution level structures. It affects your military personnel, sometimes diplomatic personnels, and also bureaucrats. It really affects your, or every structural establishment. For example, Russia or some other Eurasian countries know that, and sometimes they criticize very harshly, as we sense that from this Ukrainian very, high intensive issue still. And they say that we do not want to see Ukraine, a very brother country, in their history, to be shaped in so, in their own words, harshly, according to some NATO establishment. And Turkey sometimes say this also. NATO is an important institution, we know that, but as a cultural and as a very unilateral organization, Turkey does not want to see in such an organization. F-35, where stands these jets in this discussion? They stand just in the middle. But this is not only a weapon. It can be turned a very another weapon in 1 month, as Mr. Elon Musk, very famous name now in the world, said in last tweets. He said, X posts. He said that F-35, what are they? These small drones or small technology equipment, they can change everything, he said now. Very interesting words. Not for me, for very important military or diplomatic personnel, but a very, genius level man, as they say in social media. The understanding and opinion turns to be like this. F-35 is now a symbol of some disagreements of Turkey and NATO in this 5-6 years. But it turns to be not a disagreement anymore, I think, because also Mr. Rutte said that, yes, Turkey has a very important military capability. He's shown this TUSAŞ equipment he's seeing, or Khan. Khan is the name of our important jets now. Of course, it's behind the, I know that, the technology of American technology, all the Western ideologies and NATO's capabilities are so beyond many, many countries, but still we're trying and we're struggling. And also Mr. Rutte and many NATO military personnel approved that, yeah, we did something. Khan turned to be an important also equipment of ourselves. But still we need this spirit. We really give an importance and utmost importance to the spirit of NATO for the balance of this, I mean, friendly relations in the region. I mean, unilaterally designed thing, as some also Western leaders said sometimes, like Mr. Trump sometimes he said this issue in NATO budget discussions. But Turkey wants to discuss all the issues again and again in all levels.
And of course, I have to ask this question: what are the expectations from a new Donald Trump's administration? A lot of global issues are on the agenda, and the experts expect new shifts, geopolitical shifts, after Donald Trump takes his lead in the White House. Therefore, what Turkey expects from his presidency, taking into account the past experience of work between President Erdogan and President Trump?
Thank you. It's an important question, because we, last month we may not maybe speak about this issue because many persons had many different ideas that Mr. Trump cannot do this. I mean, he cannot even win the election. So he won. This is democracy's number one rule, and even this is the domestic politics of United States. It affects all this world structure because United States wants so. I mean, after the Cold War times and even during the Cold War times with the establishment of NATO, please remember that NATO is number one, institution or maybe successful motivation of the United States at those times. And he included many other players, including Türkiye, for years. Lastly, Sweden and Finland also. We must remember also the last members of NATO. But we say that Mr. Trump said in his own style that he really gives importance to actors' own motivations. I mean, in maybe much more designed sense of saying. He said that the actors must feel responsible. They must be not lazy. I mean, lazy is a not good word, but sometimes some members, I mean, not Turkey first of all, but Turkey real with its terror perception, with its very sensitive regional perceptions, gives its all efforts, I mean, for years, for many, and still gives it, like Azerbaijan did, I mean, for these last years, for its own sake, for its own stability in its region. So Turkey, but not the other members of NATO, maybe said Mr. Trump. And in his own way, he said that he can make some changes in these institutional structures. Turkey can discuss this because the players and the actors like Turkey, they feel always comfortable because they feel comfortable because of their bureaucracies, because of our technology efforts, because of their motivation that they are giving to their stability of their own region. So Trump can change first of course, these procedures in his own country, because also in the United States structures, we know that there are some bureaucratical level of difficulties, as Mr. Musk, the other bureaucrats or the NIMS, this departments has always said that. I think he will start from these internal structures, but he will turn to these issues also. We can feel that. Starting from Ukrainian issue, first of all, Turkey feels sometimes not comfortable with the names he has chosen. In Turkish media, you can feel this because there are some contradictory names. We always know that about the Middle Eastern issue, about Israel's position, about some humanitarian issues, first of all, because Turkey always, or maybe Azerbaijan also, the other countries in this region too, they always give some respect and some right to humanitarian issue. This is an important thing because we really suffered from very long years of war, very long years of terror perceptions. And because of this, we must start to discuss, first of all, this humanitarian sides of these conflicts. Israel, unfortunately, sometimes have some unilateral decisions in this last, year, in these last months. All the world knows that the problems I mean, every country has the right to fight against terror. We know that. But Mr. Trump also knows that maybe he can make some separations about these policies among these unique countries and unique players. Russia is also a unique player, also in Trump's perception, I think. Because Russia, with its, of course, very well-known history, very well-known, I mean, communitarian and political structures, must be counted as an important player, and also as a player of a dialogue in NATO sense. Because as Turkey has always said, NATO-Russia dialogue is also very, very important. In 1990s, please remember, just 15 maybe years ago, we said that we have a very good relation. I mean, as NATO country, as Turkey, as Russia, we can come together, I mean, Russian experts, NATO experts, and we can discuss something. And we must return, I think, to those years. And Mr. Trump, with his own style, it is not up to us because it is the number one democracy rule. He can do in his own style, but we know that he can achieve to maybe change to this uniqueness. I mean, uniqueness of countries, peculiarities and sensitiveness of countries. And this spirit can also contribute to the NATO level of, friendship, and NATO level of, community understanding.
So thank you so much for joining our discussion today. Thank you.
Ms. Lavrin, thank you. It's a very good time for having this conversation. Thank you.